Hello and welcome to Marketing Edge on TV, Nigerians' leading initiative in the business of brand management and in the management of brand business. It is a 30 minutes wholesome package that comprises brand news, branding focus, and industry conversation, all in a mix, encompassing thorough and in-depth, all aimed at promoting the brand idea. I'm Ogali Abikele Mafuru.
Keep up with innovative, revealing, and groundbreaking happenings in the world of brands and brand builders in Nigeria and across the globe. Mingle with people and brands that make the cut and the personalities that keep reinventing the trends and traditions in the marketing world. All an exciting one-stop shop for marketing vibes. Marketing Edge on TV. You're always right on time with the right people and movers and shakers of the world of marketing as they share their views and ideas on the business and challenges of advertising, corporate affairs, media strategy, and the unfolding exciting world of digital marketing. Join the trendsetters and key decision makers as they shape opinions and project into the future of the marketing landscape for 30 exhilarating minutes on this channel. Stay ahead, be thrilled to beat, be marketing savvy with Marketing Edge on TV. Marketing Edge on TV, promoting the brand idea.
Good to have you back. First on Marketing Edge on TV is brand news, where we'll bring you the latest developments around brands and in the field of advertising, marketing and communication in Nigeria and around the world. Now on brand news. Ahead of his sworn here in office as the president of the National Institute of Marketing of Nigeria, NIMN, IDORENYEN ENANG has restated his commitment to revolutionize the marketing industry through strategic and deliberate efforts aimed to drive inclusivity and growth. Speaking to Marketing Edge on TV, the NIMN boss disclosed that his administration is determined to see that the marketing profession is given its pride of place, noting that since he mounted the saddle, he had not rested on his oars in delivering on his campaign promises for the institute. The NIMN president, who hinted that a review of the NIMN Act and marketing curriculum have reached an appreciable stage, maintained his resolve to build on the successes recorded in the past 11 months. Recall that Mr. IDORENYEN ENANG was elected president on May 28, 2021 at the annual general meeting of the institute, and part of his mandate was to build on the antecedents of the past president, Mr. Tony Agewome. In a bid to maintain decorum amid political activities, the Lagos State Signage and Advertisement Agency, LASA, has issued guidelines to caution against indiscriminate deployment of campaign messages across the state towards the 2023 general elections. According to a statement signed by the Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer of LASA, Prince Adedamola Dosumu, the guidelines is to direct party members on acceptable standards on the use of political materials before and during the election. The statement revealed some of the specifics of the various categories of structures as well as the rules attached to them, while urging key political players to adhere strictly to the laid-down rules to avoid being sanctioned. Coming on the heels of the recent removal, destruction, and selling of billboards in Kaduna State by the Kaduna State Urban Planning and Development Authority, KAPSUDA, the Outdoor Advertising Association of Nigeria, OAN, has condemned the action, describing it as unnecessary. Speaking to Marketing Edge, Emmanuel Ajufo, the OAN president, explained that the association made efforts to dissuade KAPSUDA from taking the action during a joint meeting to no avail. He expressed disappointment over the illegal sell-off of OAN members' business structures to the public without due consideration and consultation. The Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, has dispelled subscribers' fears over the 40% hike proposed by telecommunications operators on the price of data, SMS, and call services. In a statement made available to Marketing Edge, the Commission stated that it had monitored with keen interest the reports in the media on the demand by mobile network operators to increase tariffs of telecom services and has taken note of the fears being expressed by telecom subscribers on the agitation. It assured subscribers that there will be no tariff hike without recourse to empirical studies. Telecom operators in a letter to NCC had cited high operational cost as the major reason behind the decision.
Well, that's it on Brand News. Next is Brand and Focus after this break.
Oh, guy, then make I run use your phone, Jare.
Guy, where did you do your glow line now?
Baba, calm down now. Not be this NIN wahala, they give me stress. They don't even block my lines.
But my glow NIN link is simple pass now. Yes, simple. Just dial *109#. Tell where to do. See, give my phone.
What if I don't get NIN before?
Simple. Just go any glow word now. Once you go get your NIN. Yes.
Guy, I get plenty guys who don't link their NIN. Until now, their phone still they block.
Tell them when they go any glow word now. Once they go block their line. Yes, now.
No wahala, make I use your own phone for now. I go start my own later.
Guy, talk plenty talk. You know, so when I link my line, Glow dash me plenty bonus. Yes, now. And when you link your own line, Glow will dash you up to 20,000 naira bonus.
20,000?
Yes, so 20,000 naira bonus.
Yo, fam, take your phone. We move. Yeah, and they go link my NIN.
This bonus now for both new and existing customers, so.
For those wondering if the new Schweppes Zobo tastes as good as they say it does, experience tells us. Try it. Find out for yourself. Introducing new Schweppes Zobo, made with over 200 years of experience.
Not too much berekete.
Glow Plus is here. Existing Glow customers will get 400% bonus on every recharge and 100 MB data bonus on first recharge of the month. New Glow customers will get 1,000 Naira welcome bonus. To activate, buy a new Glow SIM today or dial *777# for existing Glow customers.
Marketing Edge on TV, promoting the brand idea.
Now on Branding Focus. Small and medium enterprises, SMEs, are considered the backbone of economic growth in all countries and are strategic as well as essential for accelerating global growth and development. According to the Small and Medium Enterprise Development Agency of Nigeria, SMEs, a large percentage of registered companies in Nigeria are constituted by small-scale businesses, and many have been in existence for a long time. SMEs constitute about 90% of businesses in Nigeria, creating more than 70% of employment, which contributes 10% to the country's GDP. Even though SMEs play such an important role, there is also a high failure rate. It is estimated that close to 75% of SMEs fail within their first 2 years of existence, particularly in developing markets. This high failure rate could also be a contributing factor to determining which marketing communication media should be prioritized by SMEs. Marketing communication efforts within SMEs are largely influenced by the environment in which the businesses operates, the skills and resources of the business, and the characteristics of the owner. Access to market remains one of the single business challenges that SMEs face in the country, and the need to use PR help small businesses find and grow their client base cannot be overstated. No client wants to do business with a small business owner who has no track record or has never delivered for an actual client. For most small businesses that can point to fancy marketing campaigns, billboards, or a vast array of clients, marketing communication is therefore seen as a vital activity for the survival and success of SMEs. By being able to point to the coverage immediately makes it easier to open a door for them. As the clients achieve small incremental wins, the agency should start building out case studies that are their own form of PR and share these with other industry partners as well. Momentum has to be maintained because it is one of the most powerful forces in the world, but many small businesses simply can't get the flywheel turning. One step forward and then they fail to capitalize on this. The link between PR coverage and access to the market must be clear. Today, however, the communication landscape has evolved due to the technological advancement. As a result, there are many more communication tools that can be used by SMEs to conduct marketing communication activities of the business.
With our branding focus, next is industry conversation, where we have interactions with distinguished personalities who have made tremendous impact in the business of brand management. Well, this week we have with us the president of the National Institute of Marketing of Nigeria, Mr. IDORENYEN ENANG, after this break.
Hey, my people, free 20,000 naira bonus.
20,000 naira?
Link your NIN with your glow line and you will receive 20,000 naira bonus.
How do we link our NIN to our glow line?
It's simple, sir. Just call 109 or dial star 109 hash or just text NIN to 109.
What about those of us who do not have NIN?
You can walk into any glow wall and register.
Please, how do I partake of this 20,000 naira?
If you are a new or old glow customer, get your bonus while it
I
lasts.
have received my 20,000 naira bonus.
For those wondering why Schweppes changes look, experience tells us. Change is inevitable. Schweppes, made with over 200 years of experience.
Marketing Edge on TV, promoting the bright idea.
Hello and welcome to Industry Conversation, a segment on Marketing Edge on TV where we have interactions with distinguished personalities who have made tremendous impact in the business of brand management. Well, today we'll be speaking with the president of the National Institute of Marketing of Nigeria, Mr. IDORENYEN ENANG. So pleased to have you with us. You're welcome to Industry Conversation.
Thank you very much, Ogali. Nice to be here, as always.
My pleasure. Mr. IDORENYEN ENANG is the president of the National Institute of Marketing of Nigeria, NIMN, and the CEO of Corporate Shepherds Limited. He is a business and leadership coach with decades of experience working to develop brands through effective communication and marketing. You're welcome again to Industry Conversation.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me. Always nice to align with my friends from Marketing Edge.
Yes, it's a pleasure to have you. You know how long it took me to finally bring you on board. So it's a great pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
So how would you assess the Nigerian economic, situation as it is at the moment?
Well, talking about the economy, it depends on where you sit. Frankly speaking, I like to be very practical about a lot of the things that happen. If you were to ask my mother far away in Ikotekwane, how's the economy? How is she? How does it impact her? She's going to give you a very different perspective from probably my driver or any of my domestic servants and staff, as it were. If you then ask me, I'll probably give you my own perspective based on how it impacts me. But then taking all of that into consideration, it's been tough. It's been tough from a standpoint of productivity because the economy thrives on the productivity of the citizens. And without gainsaying, whether as an employer of labor or an employee, you would have the pinch of different parts of it. So I'd say, as expected, I think the good thing is that we are out of the cycle of the great recession that came upon us, and we are able to cycle some measured growth. Yes, albeit very insignificant if you want to look at it from a percentage standpoint. But I read somewhere that in the third quarter we did about a 4%, which is a sign that it's going upwards in terms of growth quarter on quarter. That's a good sign. It tells you that the measured productivity is taking on some lateral drive. But when it comes home to looking at, when it hits the ground, how does it impact you as a person? I would say people are struggling.
Yes.
I believe that the economy right now is not as it's more polarized. You have the haves and the have-not. Effectively, I think we've eroded the middle class. Once upon a time, we could say there was a middle class. And as a student of marketing and a practitioner, I remember in the course of looking at the socio-economic classes, you will always have the AB, then the C, which will be your middle class, will have the C1, upper middle, lower middle, C1, C2, then the D and the E. I think there's a strong collapse of the C1, C2, and then even the D is sitting somewhere in the C. So again, bringing some level of polarization on our socioeconomic classes, and that tells you the pressure on the individuals, pressure on productivity and output, and ultimately pressure on the economy. So how is it doing? The economy has come out of recession, taking some upward move. However, the pinch is very telling on the individuals, telling on businesses, telling on organizations. Net, the economy is not in the right space.
Okay, I know that there's some place that marketing can, play in salvaging some of the issues you just raised, as it were. But let's see the assessment, your assessment of the IMC sector in Nigeria.
Okay, within the integrated marketing community and communications community, I think the impact comes, all through. What is it about integrated marketing? You're going to look at the entire chain, the entire stakeholder map. You look at the agencies, you look at the clients, you look at the consumers, okay, and you ask yourself what's going on in each side. Now, if the brands are currently being challenged, if the brands are challenged, of course, the companies are going to be challenged, and then marketing spend will be, kind of managed, and it wouldn't be top dollar as it used to be. Spend will be, the impact will be more on effectiveness and efficiency as against the number or quantity or quantum of what you have. And that automatically will impact the agencies who are helping to streamline in whatever form and shape. And the good news is that the consumer begins to trade within the context of, have I the right information to drive my motivation for the choice? That's the good news. However, that is going to be premised on how well the entire chain muscles are, because the end user is a consumer. We all do what we do, so there can be some motivation. Now, how is that industry doing? It's challenged equally, because the brands are challenged, especially being the source. The consumer is challenged from a disposable income standpoint. The agencies are challenged because there's a lot of pressure on them delivering so much with less. Okay, and then the entire spectrum gets into that space of, hey, I'm the king, you are the subject. I'm the master, you are the servant. But if they all come to his premise where what I call an optimized quality drive, where everybody comes to the table with good quality appreciation of what needs to be done, then it can serve as a measure or a cushion of the impact or the challenge that the environment is positing. So IMC generally, I think the industry is challenged, also challenged by way of people. I do not think we have harnessed the people factor. I think there's still a challenge around that area, getting the best minds and the best set of professionals to do what they should do. Everybody now is in a survival mode as against thriving. So the industry is also challenged from getting, best hands to do the best things that will help the society at large.
Okay, so for the professionals in the marketing industry, how are they responding to some of these challenges you just enumerated?
I think most of them are, and I know that I'll be pushed and shoved for what I'm about to say. I don't see that level of doggedness And I do want to say, back in the day, my time as a brand manager, I don't see that energy and drive with today's brand managers. I think they're a bit laid back. I think they want everything to be done by the agencies. Most of them do not apply self into the, into the equation. Rather, it's about me. But then it was about the brand. I come from the school of the first principle. The B in brand is the brand. Brand first. And that brand first principle makes sure that you walk through the process of nurturing and making sure that you keep it alive. But these days, you find them a lot more leaning on just what would make themselves better. Okay. And that does not help at all. Personal development is not so much enhanced by doing. I don't see folks who walk the streets. When I mean walk the streets, the business is on the streets. I was brand manager for Coca-Cola. I didn't sit in the office. We have a lot of office brand managers, if you may. And these are the guys that will grow up to become chief marketing officers or specialists. When they get to that stage, because they didn't do it when they were growing, they would not understand what it takes. The guts of the business actually in the field. If you don't go to the field, if you don't make it a point of duty to relate with the base, and then make sure that there's a good combination of what I call the Air Force and the infantry. And you wonder what that means. In marketing, consumer marketing is almost like your Air Force. They get in and drop the bombs. Then sales will be like the infantry. They go in to mop up. If you are a marketer today and you cannot oscillate between both, then you're not total. You're just one-sided. And with time, it will show. Because the economy and business is challenged. So they need people with commercial acumen, not brand acumen alone. Yeah, that's the difference.
Well said. Now, we understand that the pandemic, has overhauled human experience. And of course, businesses and professionals need to go along with the trend. What would you identify as the major shift that has come as a result of the pandemic?
I think the major, I'm would I call myself small or medium scale entrepreneur, Ogale? The first major shift is the ways of working.
Okay.
And the ways of working are informed by the ways of thinking. I was just saying to my colleague the other day, my business manager, do we really need this office? Because the reality is that before the pandemic, months before, I had actually given, that's when we were having some mad traffic in Lagos. I gave my colleagues 2 days, they'll pick 2 days they would like to come to the office, and the rest of the days they work from home. I didn't know that we are going to be faced with a pandemic. And so we started building that culture, and hey, boom, the pandemic hit. Post-pandemic, I can tell you, I haven't seen my entire spectrum of colleagues in the office at one time. And this is almost 2 years. So that's clearly an impact. What has it done on the positive side? Some measure of cost saving in terms of efficiency. Very many times we have to, have to buy fresh batteries for the generator at the office, simply because the generator has been run down. Tells you folks have not been there. That's a little sign or a leading indicator that times have changed. The other part to it, which is very interesting, is how do we conform our minds, to do things differently? These days, this interview could have easily been done virtually and we'll still achieve the same objective. The only reason is that, I wouldn't have to sit before you and then you pump those questions in me. With the other one, I could feign ignorance that the network, is bad. People, so
Yes, very true.
Very true. What I'm bringing out is behavioral. Some people now are using that as the excuse for not delivering. They tell you, I don't have a good network. I don't have the infrastructure. So whereas from a business standpoint or opportunistic standpoint, it has brought in cause and need for us to be more efficient and prudent. Behaviors have changed. And such behaviors, if not well managed, you can find a lot of people drop off or drop the ball. And some become very lazy. and in the process, productivity drops. So it's, I bet, there's a 50-50 type thing. But all in all, I would say that it's been quite impactful on the thinking and the ways of working, primarily in terms of the impact of business.
Okay. So how are professionals responding to the accelerated shift from traditional media to digital, especially with the advent of the metaverse? What new challenge has been posed to marketing professionals?
I think to be honest, I do not think there's a fresh challenge per se. The truth is, the whole entity and ecosystem has been evolving. The metaverse, as we call it, existed. It was just because it wasn't named as such. That's the truth. So when you rename something, it begins to create something new that people just think, oh, it's not different from what has been happening. What is different is, are people ready to attune their minds and begin to embrace the new order? Just like we had the post-pandemic period. With the way things are going, you're going to find it becoming a lot more interesting and challenging. But it's the individual that needs to change, not the system. And I'm coming from a standpoint of my previous experience. I used to work for Samsung at one point in my life. If I tell you that, working as a CEO in Samsung, when we go to Korea, way back in the day, we were always shown, it was just the top executives around the world. We go to Korea twice a year. And in those 2 moments, when we get there, we will take a peep into 2-3 years of the future. So I could tell you, before I left Samsung, I could tell you what Galaxy Note 10 will look like. But I had left Samsung because I had a preview. So there are people living in that world now. But some of us are just coming into it and feeling that, oh, there's a new world.
Marketing Edge on TV, promoting the bright idea.
But that's how much we can take on Marketing Edge on TV this week. Do well to join us same time next week for the second part of our conversation with the President of the National Institute of Marketing of Nigeria, Amogali Abikele Mafuru. See you again.
Every 1 hour, 86 migrants enter Lagos State. It is a beehive of activities. Every second counts in this city that never goes to sleep. There is always something to talk about. We go the extra mile to tell the story of Africa's 5th largest economy. We track happenings on land, on waterways, and in the air. We go against all odds to ensure that you are heard.
25% of the entire spread of Lagos is covered with water.
I'm Adedoja Salamageni. I live in Lagos.
TVC Communications, Nigeria's leading independent broadcast company, has been officially designated as a great place to work. Over the past 3 years, we have transformed our workplace into one which is respectful, caring, rewarding, and provides great benefits to all our 500 employees. We thank our team for giving us the chance to show that partnership between employer and employee really works. TVC Communications, officially designated as a great place to work, and now the only broadcasting and media company, not just in Nigeria, but throughout continental Africa, to be fully certified. TVC Communications, a great Nigerian company, a great Nigerian place to work.